Hey everybody, it's Sunday night and I'm tired, so we'll see what's going on here. Let's go on ahead and switch over to our drawing monitor. There has been a couple of things. For the most part, everybody who's read the comic has been like, well, it's good. And I'm like, great. And then I'm like, but I need some more work. So Mariah says, okay. Um, so she says more devastation. Should look more devastating. So we're going to devastate this stuff. Devastator. I'm going to kill my cat. What was it about? Looks like the cat just knocked over stuff, which doesn't surprise me. So just do as much damage here as we can think of. What we really need is music. Hello, Grant. No, yeah, your minion's off to school. So far, so good. Like I was saying, I gave my script to the partner, and she's like, I don't have that many changes that need to be done. And I was like, oh. So I was like, I got to do something tonight. So she was like, well, I felt like the destruction scene wasn't destructive enough, so destruct it some more. So I'm destructing it more. So we're doing more destructor. The splash page is done, dude. Um, yep. So I don't want to send it until I've had at least 3 people look it over, because I've done that before, and then just because we're all human beings, Mariah and I have both missed that one thing where it should have been a comma but was a period, and then it becomes one of those, well, and it's stuck for all time on the print. So yeah, Patsy's still looking it over. Um, James has got it too, so. And that's where we are. And I'm also really tired tonight, so this may be just short anyway. Get up tomorrow and do better work. Because you did the first pass, but I gave them the modified version after your pass. And I'm getting a lot of, it looks good and solid after that. Which is good to hear, but also kind of makes me think that so we probably will just work for a little bit and then we'll head on out. That way you can go to bed early, I can go to bed early, get some sleep before tomorrow. spacecraft girl, so they just didn't make it out of there. Maybe it's aircraft. Problem is altitude. Can't make it go too far. Can't make it too big because otherwise they become these monster vessels. Maybe she's right. He really is. Just needs to be lower. Alright, make it just a little lower. And drop the key weight down to 1,000 feet. She also wants me to work on this lone shot right here. She feels like it actually doesn't fit. I am inclined to agree. Feeling on this is I actually think I may decided this wasn't a good idea in general. And as cute as this picture is, we'll remove it. Because it just stands out. There we go. That will fix that problem. It won't stand out. All right. I think we have a couple more. I want to do a couple more checks on it. But we can go ahead and button it up by tomorrow. I think we could be buttoned up by tomorrow night. Because I'll have Mariah go over it once. We do need to do it. Yeah. Really? That spot right? Just one M? How many M's? I'm not sure I spot the M's right. Sure. M-M-E. I don't know if I necessarily need to put that in. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But I like the idea that I have some military gravitas in there. There you go. Oh, losing names. Losing all the names. Oh noes. I've got second breakfast. But not. I lost it. What's his name? I lost his name. Oh boy. It's in the closing credits. Brent, help me out. Who else is usually here? Hone, thank you. Heavens. You don't get a shout out because you're already an editor. I'm already going to have to bring it down 2 points, I think. I should bring this up. It is the name. And it is who did it. He's under. Oh. Very easy to figure out. finish these stream stuff. A couple reasons. As important as you guys are, you are. Nope. That. Because the whole point of this is because of him, so he probably deserves to be there. Actually, this. Here. And as much as I like keep your eyes on the stars, I think Ryan's here. I can't. And you know. And Merrick. Wow, all of a sudden we have a whole bunch of people here. Oh
yeah, we're being raided.
We're being totally raided.
So I was watching, I was going to bed, and I was just relaxing watching the other stream. They're like, oh, Cyan's on. We're going to raid him. I'm like, oh, no.
And then here I am working on just the title screen here on the page. I'm boring,
guys.
I'm totally boring today.
Hi, Jimmy. How you doing this evening? Hey, Brent. I was watching. I saw the murder.
This is the one we want to get. There we go. We are configured properly now. Yep,
Yay!
I'm just doing the final tweaks on it now. We are buckled in.
So, what did you think of the 4-page comic?
It was pretty cute. I liked it. I didn't read it all because I was in the middle of a huge, massive NDK meeting. Things are going to get ugly over the next couple of weeks with me because of NDK. So,
Yeah, kind of expected that.
but yeah, I was in a huge meeting with NDK whenever it came in. And I was like, this is a good distraction. And I'm like starting to read it, and they're like, "Hey, guy, I need you here." And I'm like, "Oh crap, okay." And so, for a while there, it was great because they were talking about stuff that I didn't need to get involved with, but
then you need to get involved.
And then I need to get involved. And it's really. I'm doing all the shout outs here. I'm like, Donald, Ghost Hand, Hone, Second Breakfast, Quasar Art Collective, and the folks from Red Team Go.
There we go.
That's a lot of folks.
It is. But yeah, that was kind of hilarious on my part. I'm sitting there trying to outrun the wave of people. And I have to look up. Well, you are a plant, so maybe a little too much watermelon.
You have a lot of terminology that you use for these things, and I do not understand a lot of this terminology. I often get very confused by that.
I mean, you are a dryad. But no, talking to Melon.
I know. I was going to make a joke about more water because dryads then would be wet ads. And I was like, I don't know if that works as well as I wanted it to. Hey, guy.
So, yeah, this is the Quasar Art Collective. This is my co-host, Guy. He's currently updating things. I have art going over here. So, all kinds of fun. I have we both have comics. Guy has a sci-fi comic. The name of...
You totally lost it. You lost it.
I lost it. I totally...
Bellatrix Rising.
But Bellatrix Rising, and then mine is...
You lost that one.
Yeah, sure. Send it my way. No, I was reading chat. Mine is Armageddon Divinity, which is magical girls at the end of the world. So. Oh, I approve. I approve. That's a very, very nice drawing. I like the colors.
Okay. Curiosity, why are you not lined up? Oh my god, you're not straight. Oh my god. Ermagerd.
So, Melon, how do I turn on rating?
What is rating? What are we talking about?
It's a Twitch thing. So one channel, if they see that you're active and they follow you, they can actually send all of their viewers into your channel. and it's called a raid.
Okay. Well, that's kind of cool. I'm not sure what. Okay. I mean, I'm okay with it, man. Just like, what does that mean?
No, it means that you're getting people visiting your site.
Mm.
So, so a bigger channel can suddenly expose a smaller channel to its audience,
Oh, that's
and
kind
you
of
can
cool.
pick up. Um,
Folks who are doing that. It works. That's kind of
yeah,
cool. All right. I think we are about to go down.
according to this, it says it's turned on for me, so I don't know why. I don't know what's going on with that. Hmm. Maybe Tess needs to follow me? Yeah, we'll figure that out later. How can I turn it on to anyone raid? How do I turn that on? Is it under my channel stuff? Maybe settings? So yeah, rating is really big on Twitch.
Okay.
And being able and send your viewers to another channel.
Is it against the viewer's will?
No, they can opt in or opt out of it.
Okay. Gotcha. I probably should do a Magical Girls ad for you. I'd put um, an ad for Pia in the back for Raph on, and I think I should just cycle. So if you want to come up with something that looks like this page here for me, I will put it in the back of this issue before I roll it to the press. And then I'll just bring Raph back in a few episodes because I'm going to be going for a while. So might as well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just going to keep these in stock and just keep rolling them.
Yeah, I have it set to allow all raids. So I don't know what happened with that. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not against the raid concept. Well, I mean, other than raid sounds scary, but
do not fear the raid. The raid is love.
I'm okay with
the
that.
raid brings you coffee.
think this would make an ultimately good ad that I could put in your comments if you ever wanted to share.
Yeah.
This picture here is still in there. I don't like this one. Mostly because I really dig the MPV as a vehicle.
Yeah, that happens. She was trying to get out as fast as she could. So it is okay. So yeah, they know the speed at which I draw, but I don't think anybody has actually seen me draw.
Well, I did once, but it burned my eyes and plagued my skin.
It was like looking into the face
Into
of
the
God. So yeah, I do kind of a quick and dirty rough, and then I switch into vector art and I do the vector on top of it. So, and Guy and I have two totally different ways that we draw using Clip Studio, and two totally different storytelling methods. So on the stream, you'll actually see very different ways of using the same program.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's one of the best. I love that part.
So Guy uses a lot of maquettes, and he'll 3D render out a scene, and he'll set up the scene and then trace over top of it and do his inking that way. And then me, you'll see a more traditional way where I'll rough draft the scenes and then ink over top of that. And then you'll also see us haggle each other.
That happens a lot.
And then Guy will occasionally have to break down and make a new star chart.
Yes, invariably the star charts occur. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing. Although the last time I checked with the Gaia information, it looked like it was pretty clear stuff. You're okay. You're okay. You're still okay.
Beetlejuice hasn't blown up yet. There hasn't been any major. Melon is at. Oh, let's see. Why isn't that? Hmm. Okay, got it. Got it. We good. I thought there was extra conversations that weren't actually there.
Hearing things.
Yeah, constantly.
Have that problem all the time. It's maybe one where I want the logo flat.
So I was showing a friend of mine the uh, the Western,
Uh-huh.
and they went, "Have you seen this movie?" And they showed me a movie called Old Henry, and it came out in 2021. It's a really, really interesting Western. It's a modern Western, um, but it looked fantastic.
Hmm.
So I haven't seen it yet. I want to. I've looked at the trailer and a couple of things for it. And the music seems really good.
It does sound cool.
Is that your advertisement?
Yeah, I'm just building up an advertisement real quick here.
I like it. It looks really nice.
Oh, thank you. That way I can give it to you guys if you ever feel the inclination to add it to your comics.
Well, if you give it to me, I will definitely add it to the back. Let's see. Oh, so did I tell you the footwear story I ran into with the comic?
No.
So I was looking for. This is so stupid. I was looking up references for Old West, like shoes and footwear.
Right, because all we ever know about is cowboy boots.
Yeah, and there's more to it than just
There's more
that.
to it. Yeah.
And so I typed in I think it did 1880s Western footwear. Literally, the first thing that came up was crotchless male nylon underwear. And I'm sitting there going, I highly doubt a cowboy was wearing that in the
I mean,
1800s.
talk about chafing.
Yeah, it's like, why? Why is this the first thing that comes up?
Right?
It's like, Google, this doesn't help me.
really doesn't. That's weird.
I I know you probably get a lot of Western wear and a lot of people trying to get into that, but I just want to look at shoes and footwear.
Mm-hmm.
So, the life of an artist.
Right? Yeah, I know I ended up on all kinds of bizarre lists because of just the things I look up. My day is actually pretty packed tomorrow.
What's going on?
Just looking at what I've got to do tomorrow. Got so many things to do tomorrow. I mean, like, it's prepping the kid. Kid is returning to school.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Like, I've badly lost track of time. I'm sitting here going, God, it's already halfway through August.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, when did time just disappear?
I'll workshop that. Let's see. I may regret that. Well, I don't regret the line.
And NDK, that's what, at the end of the week or end of the month?
End of the month, yeah. It's only 2 weeks away. 2.5 weeks.
Wow, that is really close.
$500 is a long time for a civilization. For one person, it's just a
Uh, it's also hard to think that we're coming into fall.
Yeah. I'm not detecting that at all. Do you want scritches or not? You keep doing that. You come over and you nudge me, and then I reach down to scritch you and you run away. Yes.
Oh, so you need to introduce your other co-friend there.
Here. Here. Hurry. Give me scritches.
For the audience that has not met him.
Yep. No, he's kind of hard to get. Weirdo.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, I'll introduce him. He says to come back over, but right now he's doing the no. Follow me all over the room, please. Game.
So that's George. That's
George. Other member.
George the Pest.
Yes, the Pest. All right. There's a stinger. I think that's good. See, now you're coming over to say hi. George. So there we go. I think that works.
Yeah, that does work. It looks really nice.
Yeah, it's not even the young girl in question. That's all right. That's the big plot of this story, not the little plot. And I will save this as...
Oh, so, interesting thing that Cat found.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing polls and finding out what is a good length to stream for. And it came out to 2 hours.
Oh, really? I was waiting for you to say 15 minutes, and I'd be like, well, we'll just stream and break the stream in 15-minute blocks.
But yeah, 2 hours was the perfect time for streaming, is what she found for art streams.
Well, there you go.
I was like, that's very interesting, because I was sitting there going, well, we might not be going long enough, you know?
Right, or are we going too long? I would have assumed it would have been too long.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, this stream was started as an accountability thing, so for me, I'm just kind of doing the I'm doing the, well, if it was, whatever, if it doesn't fit or whatever, I guess we'll just make it work.
Yeah. I have been getting work done even though I haven't been here.
On stream?
If you look, I'm at page 21 on my thing. Plus, I did the 4-page comic. So
I'm getting these overlays, games with best foraging machines. I'm getting pop-ups. They're not pop-ups. They're news of some sort. I feel like they're coming from my news thing.
I'm not seeing them on our end. Are they on your end?
I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing it pop up here on my screen. It feels like an error of some sort.
Yeah,
Like it's
because I'm not.
bleeding in from somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on the stream.
Yeah, neither am I. I don't know what's coming
It's not
from.
coming from my chat. I'm physically in there looking right now.
No, yeah, no, I'm not seeing it there either. I don't know.
I got nothing.
What are you doing? You're stuck now. See, you get yourself stuck. Goofus.
I just hear him in the background, just this pathetic.
I know. He's like, I don't know what he's trying to. I don't know. He's doing the gaming thing where he wants to screw around and be weird. I kind of like that stinger though. 500 years is a long time for a civilization for one young girl, though it's only a heart. I like that sting. That's a good stinger.
Yeah,
it sort of does. Yeah, because that works, I think, in a lot of different ways.
But yeah, so originally we were part of a group called Red Team Go. And it was an art club for doing comic art. And it was a great thing, and eventually it died. And the remnants of it kind of wanted to keep going, you know? We didn't want to stop doing comic making. So we started meeting at other places and doing online meetings. And then Guy eventually started doing the stream broadcasts. And I started joining him for it because accountability and hey, you know, we can get work done.
Yeah.
And also too, it brings us into a much larger group of people. Like, you know, if someone has art questions about doing certain things with Clip Studio, both of us can jump in and help and give not only how we do things, but also kind of go, and here's how the other guy does it. And so we can give people radically different points of view that will help them with whatever they're trying to do with Clip Studio.
To boot, we're watching each other sort of evolve through these comics and watching them go from literal, like, scratches on a page all the way through to the print process.
Yeah.
I'm just laying on the floor and stretching my back out. That's all. And wondering why George is not over here. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, is that part of this stream is, is educational to that degree, but part of it is also watching an evolution of a comic.
Yeah.
Your comic has been evolving. My comic evolves much slower, but it's still evolving very quickly, rapidly now.
Yeah, it's actually kind of amazing to go to the group and talk to the group and seeing kind of they're progressing, but it's at a much slower rate than both of us are.
Yeah, we're putting in 2 to 4 hours a day. That's a big jump.
Yeah.
I don't think my back wants to pop. That's aggravating. Oh well.
And we're both doing very vastly different things to kind of help each other out,
Yeah.
And at any point we could say, well, we're not in the mood to work on the comic, but we do want to work on this project here or something like that, which totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
Chibi Mellon, she's also an artist. She does live 2D avatars. So she's doing PNG avatars for herself, but she'll also do like emotes and that sort of thing for various Twitch streamers.
That's cool. I realize I can make a lock screen if I were to. Well, I don't think I made it wide enough.
Okay, that is.
There it goes. That's exact. Oh, that's a great face. Look at this face.
That is me muting myself. I can have sound back. There we go.
Yep, that's that. Okay, but you'll notice that I've made it very difficult for you to turn that off now. Yes. You did actually ultimately come over here, didn't you? There we go. Now you can see the other member of the team.
Hi, George.
George the Pest. Oh, here, I'll turn off this thing. That would be really see him. I'm George, the goofy cat.
So you get to see George occasionally. You get to hear George a lot more.
Yeah, he makes a lot of ruckus for some real weird reason. Like sometimes he just gets lost in the other room and he's like, I don't know where I am. There's obviously no humans. I will cry now. And then I'm like, I'm right here. And he goes, oh, good. This happens regularly.
He starts singing the songs of his people up and down the hall.
Yep. That'd be the. Yes, we were just talking about that, as a matter of fact. It's like, I just wanted to make sure you all understood that I was saying something because I'm weird. It's part of the show. Most of the time. Yeah. I am not being that exciting today, and I am sorry about that. I am out of steam. Today was a rough meeting.
Well, yeah, you're getting ready for an entire con.
Yeah, but two of our directors resigned.
Oh.
So I took over their entire divisions. And so things
Oh.
got unpleasant in that one. It's only an emergency action. It will we'll fix it after the con, but this close to the convention.
That's rough.
Yeah, and it's sad too because the reason is COVID related.
I can understand that.
Yeah, the director caught COVID before the vaccines, like you did, and for the same reasons, their brain's just not up to the task anymore, and they knew they were dragging us down, or at least they felt like they were dragging us down, or I don't know, but whatever's the story, they opted to step down.
Yeah,
and it was really sad because they were lovely people, and I loved them. I've known them for years and years and years and years and years, and this is just heartbreaking.
Yeah. And I totally understand where they're coming from.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if anybody knows, you know.
Yep, I'm well aware.
Yeah. But they've got a very taxing job, and they need their brain power.
Yeah.
They need their brain power for their job, otherwise they're risking losing it. Because that was the thing that really sucks, is the kind of person there is that type A, very organized, very concentrated, very smart, sharp personality. And all of this crap that COVID does just knock their mental processes down by quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's just so sad.
Yeah, and I'm discovering all of the, like, if it says that it's a bad pollution day outside, I literally cannot go outside.
Yeah.
Because it causes me too much breathing issues.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you.
tales no one will ever see.
I know. I think that all the time. I believe. All right. I'll be right back.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Yeah, that's the banter you get between the two of us.
See, now I have a hold screen, which mutes my microphone and puts this up.
I like it. I like that idea.
And in that way, I can say, oh, I need to go for a minute or whatever. I can put the hold screen up. You don't hear my audio coming from the ground mic. You don't hear the audio from anywhere. And it just has a nice little advert for my comic. And that way I can be out of screen for, if I need to run downstairs or whatever, you don't have to just sit here and watch my fan spinning. What are you using to draw, Can?
I use Clip Studio Paint. In fact, we both use Clip Studio Paint.
Yeah, we're both running Clip Studio Paint. I think it's interesting because you're using the dark mode and I'm using the light mode.
Yeah.
That's true. At least with the fan spinning, it feels like something's happening. So,
yeah.
That's the thing.
Do you have EX or are you using another version?
Yeah, I use EX as well. But yeah. So Can's using the same. We're both using Clip Studio Paint EX, and I just completed this last Friday the last panel for my comic, and I'm waiting for my 3.
Oh, really? You did?
Yeah,
Hey, bring up the maquettes and show them the maquettes you use.
Yep, I can do that too. But I have I buttoned it up, and so now I'm waiting for my 3 editors to edit the comic. But my comic is a hybrid of 3D and 2D. So here is Dad's Studio. And for example, I will, in a minute, it takes a second to load. I have, this is my hero spacecraft, which I can which I have built. I built this in Blender and then mapped it to make it look like a hand-drawn ship, so it matches hand-drawn artwork. And the thing about putting it here is that I can raise and lower the landing gear and things like that, so that we can do all of these cool things, like put it in all the doors.
Yeah, traditional is still really popular. In fact, a lot of people in our group still do things traditionally, and then they'll do effects digitally. And it's called Tradigital, I think is what they use.
Tradigital, yeah, I think so too. But this allows me to do all of these things, and that's my hero spacecraft. But the other thing I will do is I have maquettes that I use to make things go really, really fast. So I special designed 3D maquettes, which, again, just like everything else, I redid the maps. I built different aspects in Blender and morphed targets and morphed them, and so that they all match the uniforms of my characters. And it allows me to skip a number of steps in the drawing phase. So it's kind of one of those things where I can do, because I've effectively just wrapped my character around a 3D object. So I drew the character out and then wrapped it around a 3D object. Then I render the 3D object, and then I can just trace this, and it allows me to skip a lot of steps, which is great, because normally I can do a page in about 4 or 5 hours. With the maquettes, I can do a page in an hour. But it also allows me to have much more complex sets. And for example, I can bring the set in, which is also a 3D model that I built. Back up here. Right, so this is looking in the nose of the kittiwake. So this is that nose piece there. You can see I've got those, and so all I need to do for little quick scenes is just bring a character in. Place the character in front here. I have poses for it. Go over quickly and do the poses. Hang on just a second. And so I've got these poses. Just put her in the correct pose. Place her in the chair. Roll. Why is this camera so wide or so tight? This allows me then, like I said, to just easily and quickly place the character in a set that is already designed and built. It gives me a background. The background's done. All I have to do now is hand draw her in the chair. Over it, I have a procedure for that where I do an overlay, a white light. You know what? I'll just remove it.
And when he renders, he instantly goes robotic.
Yeah, as soon as I render, it's always robotic. It's very funny. Because I'm using up the PC's resources. I'll set test for under 1. I'll go over here. I'll just make a new page. All right. I'll load that test render. Just fired it off. And just lost it somewhere in here. Right.
Yeah,
so
it gets his layouts and his stuff done really fast.
Right, so here's the render we just did. right? And so what I'll do is I'll go in here, and I'll add a layer, add the super awesome layer. We always talk about doing that. Go like so, go like so. Oh boy, I can tell I was doing a whole bunch of weird, goofy stuff. Okay, then I can just go in with my tablet.
And the nice thing about like the way he does things is like on the maquette, he meticulously put in like pockets and logos, and so when he goes to do this step, he doesn't forget to put them in.
Yeah, that's I struggle with attention deficit, as I know a lot of people do. And one of the things with attention deficit folks is we don't pay attention to the details. But I also, as all good ADDers have a certain amount of OCD, which it drives me crazy when I forget the details. So I have like this ongoing problem with missing the details because of ADD, and then really being upset because I left all the details out. And there's certainly some real problems with it. I'm also noticing my cats are off on this one thing. So, but yeah, it's the thing is the maquette, even though it's a 3D model, I built it part of it.
Like what it shows is how far art has come. Like traditional is still very much alive, but digital brings a whole set of different skills that you can bring in to the ball game.
Mm-hmm.
And like one of the things both of us were using okay, I use an XP pen.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
yeah. I use a XP Pen 22E.
Yeah, and I use an XP Pen 16.5 Pro or something like that. Anyways, both of those are cheap uh, digital display tablets. So you're not spending an arm and a leg on a good high-end tablet like a Cintiq, but you're getting a good quality product that will help you with digital art. And there used to be a thing back in the day where it's like, oh, it doesn't matter, you know, what you have. It's not going to help you with art if you don't know the fundamentals. With digital art, having a display versus having the tablet that you look on the screen and you draw down here, it's two very different styles.
Right. And by the way,
And
that's this frame is down. So as a side note. That's the speed of which this can work. I just wanted to say that and mark that moment. Sorry to interrupt. You were in the middle of a
No,
sentence.
that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, but so there is the non-display type of tablets, and then there's the display type of tablets. And I highly recommend to artists that they go with the display kind of tablets because it's more natural to how you draw.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is coming from a guy who, when I started, display tablets were very expensive, and I had to go with the drawing tablet on there and looking up.
Yeah.
And you only had one game in town, and it was Wakem.
Yeah. The Cintiqs. And the Cintiqs were ridiculous. But even the Huion now, the Huion monitors are relatively cheap. This monitor was $400, and it's a 22-inch monitor.
Yeah.
It's actually bigger than my big monitors here. So I've got 3 monitors that, standing back here, my monitors are about this big. So this monitor here is this big. I like this monitor because it's not a touch screen. I actually do not want a touch screen when I have a monitor, because then I put my palm down on there, and palm rejection is great, but it doesn't always work. So I end up having to wear a glove, and that aggravates me a lot. Things like that. So. The best part about the speed of which I can do these scenes is now I can spend a little bit more time. I can afford the time to just go in here and put in details, like, clean up her hair or whatever. And kind of work with this to make it a better piece or whatever. But the thing that's really important is that I built every piece of this. There's, it's all built in 3D, and I have a problem because I'm old school, and the old school is don't trace. Except that, of course, the other rule of old school was the deadline is the thing. Do anything you can to get it out on deadline. And so I'm kind of warring between those two. I could do all of this freehand, and I absolutely have the skills and the capability, but it takes 5 hours a page. And the deadline's the thing. Being able to do 2 pages every show is great, because that means that it only takes, if there's nothing else going on in my world, or if there's a lot of other things, I guess I should say, because I'm a dad, I've got a kid and stuff like that. And if I can only squeeze out 2 hours a day, then that still means I can get a comic done in 15 days.
Yeah.
That's or 16 days, and that's a great speed. And still be able to take care of my kid, and my wife works late, and so she tends to come home at about 6:30, and so I'm on dinner duty all the time, doing dinner and stuff like that, because I work from home. So but I do still suffer from the all I'm doing is tracing feeling every so often, so I have to fight that and remind myself that I can still draw without the maquettes. I wonder if someday I will ever come up with maybe just an idea of just rendering out the set and then drawing a maquette or drawing in the old traditional way. I wonder how fast that would take. So like have the set, have a maquette, render it with a set by itself, render it with the set and the maquette, and then do 3 different versions of it. You know what I mean? Like do the version where I just draw everything and see how long it takes, and then draw only the person on top of the set and see how long it takes, and then draw with a maquette and see how long it takes, so that time all 3 of them with the exact same picture, and try to kind of get an actual, this is effectively 60% faster or whatever. You know what I mean? Like a real fun. I know in my heart it takes about 4 to 5 hours to do a page because I've done pages for years. And I know that you and I sit here and you're the fastest artist I know, and you can do a page in about 40 minutes. I think is maybe 30, 40 minutes. And
you can't tell they've timed me, can you?
Well, I mean, it's a thing. I mean, it's like trying to figure out how fast.
Oh
does
yeah,
this work?
they've because a lot of these guys come from a person called Teresa Queen Tess, and they know I can kick out a drawing like that.
Yeah, which is
when
unreal.
I say sketch started, everybody kind of goes, "Oh God!" In about 10 minutes, we're gonna see what kind of things he's unleashing on Tess.
Well, I'm glad to have you with us, man.
Yeah. And anytime you
Welcome
want
back
to get,
welcome back to the grind.
yeah, and don't be afraid to come in here and ask questions, or
I'm in.
we have many people that come in and want to draw with us while we're drawing.
That's the entire goal.
Yep. And it's set up for 2 different time zones. We have this late night one to try to get more of our group in, but they haven't been able to lately. But we also have a more of a morning stream, so that if you can't make it to the late night one, there's also another one earlier in the day.
Sometimes I just go through here and look, that would look better, I think. Maybe we should go fix that at some point. It's on the map. But yeah. It also, though, I think one of the things that's great about my style of this is that it frees me up to fix star maps. The long-going joke about star maps is because, so here is the story of my story. Here's the story of Bellatrix Rising. So I used to draw a comic called Tamerlane, which was a Star Trek comic, because I'm a Trekkie, and I was hanging out with my dad in 2019, and he said, okay, but how many pages did you do of Tamerlane? I said, oh, I don't know, 300 or so. And he's like, you can't sell any of that. It all belongs to CBS. And I said, yeah. He's like, why don't you do like that Seth MacFarlane guy with Orville? Just change the name and change the spaceship and then tell the same stories. And I was like, okay, I think. So then COVID hit, and I was like, well, I mean, we're all going to be parked at home, so we're not going anywhere. So I went ahead and started world building, and I streamed it on the stream. I was just world building. I was building, I was changing the spaceships, changing the spaceship designs, building new spaceships in Blender, altering the maquettes and changing the characters and all that stuff. And then it's been however long we've gone for this whole COVID thing, and then I think it was just about June 1st. It's either the end of May or the beginning of June. Finally, I started putting together the first issue, and we just rattled that out here. This guy here. That's this guy. So, and this is my own world. But somewhere along the line, I said, "Oh man, Star Trek always has like the star maps and everything like that, but it's either one day between these two stars or 6 weeks between these two stars, depending on plot developments, and that drives me crazy." So I was thinking I was going to go ahead and make my own star charts and then come up with an actual. It takes 4 days to get to this planet, 5 days to get to that planet. Whatever, come up with a speed limit so that if in issue 1 they go to this planet, from this planet it takes them 5 days, then in issue 50 they'll go from this planet to this planet and it'll take 5 days, and nothing will change, and there would be a nice little consistency. So I was like, oh, this would be easy, and I was like, oh, and since everything is around Bellatrix, which is the left star of Orion, it'd be easy. I'll just get all the stars that are around Orion in that area there, because they're all actually logged. And then I realized there was a lot of math, and I'm not good at math. So we spent 3.5 months with me redoing my star maps over and over and over in Excel, and messing up the trigonometry and screwing up everything. And it was brutal. We've gotten to the point where one of the viewers, who is a regular here, if you just say star maps, he starts yelling at me. It's getting to that point now. He doesn't even want to mess with me about starting to do star maps. So that's kind of the story behind star maps, and why that's an ongoing running gag in the show, is because it's like every so often I'll go back in there and I'll be like, wait a minute, because it's happened recently. I have a program called Celestia, which shows you stars, and it's based off of the same data that I was using. And I went in there and I went to the planet that we're at here in this comic right now, and then looked at a different planet, and it wasn't in the right place. And I was like, clearly, I was like, man, because I know that Celestia does all the math correctly. So if Celestia did the math correctly, guess who didn't do the math correctly? Luckily, it was only one star that was out of place, but I went through and had to recheck all the stars, and when I did, they were all correct except for the one that was looking for. So it was just a complete fluke that I happened to test with the one star that was in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
So I didn't end up with 3 weeks of redoing my trigonometry.
So yeah, that's him and his star map.
That's part of it. I was saying to Ken, I think that there are different kinds of artists, and there is the kind of artist that's like Da Vinci, who loves machines and mechanics and things like that. I'm one of those artists. So I love the machines, and I love and people are big machines. We're just fleshy machines. So like that fascinates me, and so all of this stuff is fascinating that way. But it also means that I really want to put all the detail into the machines and make them right.
And then there's me, where it's like I'm just putting stuff on a page.
Well, you have a different design. It's
Yeah.
a different world. My comics have to be very precise. Otherwise, my muse gets mad, and I no longer can operate as well. You have a very
And
different style and design, and it doesn't need to be as ridiculous as mine is. It doesn't need to be so over the top.
yeah, mine is. It took me. It took me a long time to figure out mine
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't have the perfectionism, but I did have the perfectionism, but I didn't. I was struggling with
Yeah.
that. And finally, when I let the perfectionist go,
Mm-hmm.
I became more perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
And your style is so. I'm trying to think of the word for it. It's so cheerful.
organic.
No, yeah, no, cheerful. Like it's a happy style, and that doesn't even make sense. And that's why I'm trying to find a word for it. I enjoy your style. It looks happy and fun. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's got a certain amount. Even when you're being horribly, mean to your characters and life is going badly for them, it's still a very cheerful style. And so it's like I have to think these things through. Like, yeah, but I love that. Mine's not a cheerful style. Mine's very rigid. And rightfully so. I feel like that fits a Star Trekian style comic. Yeah, but 7 minutes left.
I'm just about done with this page.
Shut down the cats. That, by the way, if you're
Oh,
wondering, Eric, that was Daz 3D, and that's a free program. Daz is a free program. They make their money off of um, they make their maquettes in Daz 3D are super realistic, and they make their money off of selling clothing and hair and characters and things like that. And since that's not what I used Daz 3D for, it was perfect for me because I just use it and then I rebuilt their maquettes. So since I did all the work myself, I invested it in it, but it was fine because it was free.
guy, check out this page.
That
This
page is
turned out
insane.
like,
I love that thing. That monster is awesome.
yeah,
I love the fact that you're also like, I made a monster that's like requires me to put a whole bunch of lines in it because I'm an idiot. I totally understand that. I've been there. For a long time, I did cross hatching, and it was great Zen work for a while. Man, after a certain time, boy, that cross hatching, I wanted to kill myself. Why did I do this to myself?
okay, so I have
Ooh, hey, you
22.
got yours and I've got mine up this time. This is great. This is where
Yeah,
you can see both of us doing the.
doing our stories.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's the
any
same.
page that's in pink on this is it's sketched, framed, and has um, lettering done. It just
Mhm.
needs ink.
Yeah, usually for me, mine would look red if they were not ready to be done, but these are all ready to be done. So, like I said, this one's done. Which reminds me, we should look at, well, I've got the last few minutes. Let's take a look at the next one, the next book. Momentary Books, Issue 2. Momentary Ghosts.
Yeah, so we both use these very differently. So on screen is Guy's story guide for his comic.
Mm-hmm.
Let me bring up mine. Because again, we're using the same tools, but we're using them in very, very different ways.
Right. So for me, I have been sketching out the next book, and the different colors indicate the different scenes, and it's very important for me to know what scenes are where. So I usually use, for example, I've got a meeting room here, which is going to have to be built. We've got outside scenes, that's these blue ones here. This is the bridge. This orange scene is the bridge. Then the green up here is a completely different scene. So each color represents a different set. Because if I didn't do it this time, but I will do it in the future, I do all of my comics in groups. So, for example, because of the nature of me using maquettes, I will often just load the outside set and then render every shot all the way through the entire comic, even though I'm jumping from scene to scene. And so what happens is, as we've been watching over the last few weeks, where Can goes panel to panel like a normal comic artist, I end up with these weird pages where 4 of the 5 panels are complete and the 5th panel is completely empty. And you'll see that, and then as the book finalizes, those panels just appear as I do with this panel, then that panel, then this one down here, and then I do these 3 panels over here, because I'm just going from set to set. So it's very much more like shooting a movie in my world.
Yeah, and for me, so if you look at the way he kind of breaks it down into the sections, and then he'll bring it up over onto the other side on what he is on the pages and what he's kind of doing in his flow. What I do is I will break down. So there's 32 pages in a comic. So I will go through, and each of these are 5-page sections. So I'm like, okay, I want this section to be this thing, and I'll actually start building out as an outline on this. So I'll go, okay, so for this story, these 5 pages are for this section. These 5 pages are this section. These 5 pages are... And then I'll start to build out the story from there. And I'll have each section will have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Mm-hmm. And then the entire comic will have a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Right. What you can't see on this one, but you can see better on Can's, is there's a sort of a line that's wiggling on that left side over there. You can see that line there. There's a traditional manga theorem of speed in a story that's showing there. So traditionally, you have a high point that happens right along there, and then you hit some climax of the story piece, then it goes back down, and typically the characters will talk for a while or whatever. And then you come out of that to another peak, which then hits the splash page. And that's between the 2 sections, because usually it's 32 pages with 16 pages on either side. And then once you hit that splash, then you break the story there. And then it has a long coast And then there's the ultimate like crash of the characters, and then just everything goes to hell at that last section there, and then it comes back up, and that's this classic manga to the resolution, and that's the classic manga sort of curve of how almost all manga is written inside a 32-page run. So in here is a guide, and I try to hit at least some of the key points on there. Like I try to have them all yammer about the story plot in that gap in that first section there where it just kind of goes down and then plateaus for that long period. And then I have something happen just before they go to the splash, and then they come back, and then everything just goes to hell. But then they all come back out. And so on this side, we've got that same thing on mine. I just wrote all over it. But like right here, you've got like a hand, which is
I made it a little bit more visible on my side, so you can actually.
Because mine's just a mess. But I mean, like right here at this point in the next issue is where the bad guy shows up with a bad guy ship, and the bad guy ship is 4 or 5 times the size of the kitty wake. And so this is where Bennett, the first officer, right here at that low point, that's where she turns and says, "We're no match at all. If we fired everything at them, we would dent them, and they would just smush us like a bug." And that's a low point in the story. But the captain has a plan, and this is her plan. So the plan comes out the other side over here. So that's how I make the story arc work. So we come back in from the splash at page 17, and then it just coasts down to, well, this sucks, and then it comes back up the other side with everybody finally, solving the problem. The day is solved and everything's fine. So
yeah, and I do. So I have a 9-panel comic because I'm doing more of a Watchmen style.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually blows up that timeline completely.
Yeah. This is classic manga. This is not American comics.
So I'm trying to figure my timeline out.
Yeah. You just stole my page, so it just has that same arc. And so I didn't think about anybody else but me using it when I built it. So I kind of built it to fit exactly. You know what? The best part about comics, though, is you could just go ahead and start doing comics if you wanted.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping you.
You could. It's just sequential. Yeah, it's sequential artwork. That's all it is. There's nothing. If you have a person and you drew them in one pose, and then the next you have like a reaction, you just drew a comic.
You can hang with us, and we will help you walk through it. I'll let you have this page that I made here for planning stuff out. It's in pretty high resolution, so you can get in here pretty tight.
Yeah.
And draw all of these things in. Whatever works.
Well, guy, it is midnight, so.
Yeah, I'm glad you joined us, Merrick. We'll be back again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, and we will run until 11 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow, and then we'll be back tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Mountain Time and midnight tomorrow night as well. So,
yeah,
wherever you are in your world, peg in at whatever time it is right now. Back up 2 hours. We're good. But until then, we're out. I think I'm done. I am ready to go to bed.
Same here.
So, thanks for joining me, Kane. I'll see you later.
See
Bye-bye.
ya. Bye.